Hello and welcome to Route 99. My name is Raj Thakkar, and in this video we're solving the 12th sheet from our daily practice material. Here we're given 5 verbal ability questions. Verbal ability question as in para-jumble, para-completion, para-summary type question. Right. Here the first question we have is of a para-summary question where we're given a passage followed by 4 alternate summaries of which we have to choose the summary which aptly summarizes the passage. By aptly, I mean that it includes all the points discussed in the passage, and if not, it at least put the main idea discussed in the passage in a concise manner. Okay, let's read the paragraph. Some analysis of the ancient chariots provided that Egyptian greatly improved the design of this vehicle. Okay, some analysis suggests that Egyptians greatly improved the design of the chariot. However, while they certainly did make improvement to certain parts of the chariot, it is arguable whether the Egyptian chariot was better or simply designed for a different purpose and terrain than others in the Middle East. Okay, so maybe, of course, that they made some changes in the design of the chariot, but would it be fair to say that they improved the design, or it was just to make it suitable to their terrain? For example, the Egyptian chariot had a metal covering for the axis which reduced friction, and this was certainly an improvement. Also, some wooden parts were strengthened by covering them with metal sleeves. However, the fact that Egyptian chariots were lighter and faster than those of the other major power in the Middle East may not have been considered an absolute improvement in the chariot's design. But despite all these improvements, it cannot be said that they improved the overall design of the chariot. They made these developments in order to suit their environment, maybe, which was very different from the other major powers in the Middle East. But this does not mean that they improved the overall design of the chariot. Okay, so that was the passage. Let's read the summaries. Although the Egyptian improved the overall design of the chariot, it was no match for the Middle Eastern designs, where this comparison has been drawn that the Egyptian chariot and Middle Eastern chariots had no match for the quality. There has been this comparison has never been made, right? And even if there is a slight comparison, the comparison was not to prove one type of chariot better than the other, right? So this is of course not my answer. Research finds that Egyptian improved the overall design of the chariot. However, question exists to the overall efficacy of these. Yes, this sounds like a concise way of putting the main idea of the sentence. It talks about how they improved the design of the sentence, but did it improve the efficacy of these vehicles, these chariots? That remains questionable, as mentioned in the last 2 lines. Okay, some analysts find that Egyptian improved upon the overall structure of the chariot, while others feel that Egyptian had an unfair advantage in terms of better terrain and speed. Better terrain and speed advantage, right? They have never talked about them having better terrain. They have said that they had a different terrain, of course, but was that terrain better? We cannot say that. This is not my answer. This is not my answer. This is a probable answer. The wooden, here's a T. The wooden parts of metal sleeves made the Egyptian chariots better. Again, better. They have never been proved to be better. There remains a question whether they are better or not. This is also not my answer. Hence, the correct option is option number 2. Okay, we have a para-jumble question here again. We're given 4 sentences. We need to sequence them to form a coherent paragraph. Okay. Because hummingbirds uses so much energy with heart rate from 450 to 1300 beats per minute, they must consume several times their body weight in nectar each day. Okay. This provides a reason for something. So I'm not taking this as my introductory paragraph, introductory statement as of now. Their heart rate falls to 35 to 50 beats per minute at night, and the body temperature approaches the surrounding temperature. Their heartbeat, no, their heart rate, there, who is there here? This is also a pronoun used for something. This is not my introductory statement. Hummingbirds are the second largest bird in the New World, bird family in the New World. with 320 species and are some of the smallest birds in the world, right? So this seems like a general statement. It starts the discussion about hummingbirds. It could be a very good introductory statement. In addition to what? Conjunction. So this sentence complements some other sentence. This cannot be my introduction. Hummingbird conserve energy by falling into a comatose like state at night. Okay. What is a comatose like state? Like the state explained in the second one is similar to a comatose like state, right? So 4 and 2 has to come together. This is a bundle. Let's decide the order of 3 and 1. As I said, 3 is the reason for something. It cannot be my introductory statement. So 3 has to be my introductory. 1 is my 1 is that 1 provides reasoning for something. So 1 cannot be my introductory statement. So I'll have to take 3 as my introductory statement, which should be followed by 1. Right. So my correct order comes out to be 3, 1, 4, 2. Let's read it. Hummingbird are the second largest bird family in the New World with 320 species and are some of the smallest birds in the world. Because hummingbird uses so much energy, they do this, that, and that. They have to consume a lot of nectar, and in addition to that, they also fall in a comatose-like state to save some energy. It aligns perfectly. It makes perfect sense. Hence, my order is 3, 1, 4, 2. Next question. Okay, this is again a para summary question. Cost benefit analysis hinged on an ever changing calculation of monetary value of human life. If a life could be shown to be expensive, regulation could be justified. Okay, so there is a relationship between monetary value of human life and policy making. If you can show that the life is expensive, you can also justify the regulation. Okay, if not, it would be blog or scrape. If the human life is not proved to be valuable, if not proved to be expensive, the policy would be blocked or scraped. The EPA in 2004, to allow for more lax air pollution regulation, quietly sliced 8% of the value of human life and another 3% in 2008 by deciding not to adjust for the inflation. Okay, so they said that human life is compared to the value of human life is compared to the regulation. If it's not valuable enough, if it does not pay for the cost benefit, the cost is not equal to the benefit provided, the policy is blocked or scraped. They have given the example how this was put into use. Some air pollution regulation, they quietly sliced the value of human life to 8% so that they could liberalize the policy, right? Then they again dropped it by 3%, right? So when the value of human life dropped, they could ease the air pollution regulation, right? Hey, maybe this is a metaphor. They don't actually value the human life in monetary terms, right? So they are saying that even though the cost benefit analysis is okay, but the way they count it, there is some form of red tape in the way it is calculated. So they abruptly firstly cut 8%, then they sliced 3% again, and they provided no reasons for it, right? So that is what the author is saying. Let's move on to the options. The quantitative measurement of the value of human life is inherently flawed. Inherently flawed. Where anything has been said about the structure of how the value of human life is measured. So calling it inherently flawed is an extreme statement. We cannot say that. Maybe it is implied somewhere in the last 2-3 sentences, but calling it inherently flawed is too extreme to be inferred. Right? So this cannot be my option. Due to the change in EPA regulation, the monetary value of human life has decreased. So just because of the changes in EPA regulation, the monetary value of human life has decreased, or just because the value of human life has been decreased, the EPA regulations could be eased down. So this is a wrong fact. This cannot be my summary. Deciding the monetary value of human life depends upon a multitude of factors, where this has been talked about, where the process of how the value of human life have been talked about, not all of which are justified. तो उसका तो point ही नहीं रहता when there has been no mention of the factors which are used to calculate the monetary value of human life. This is not my answer. Calculating the relative monetary value of human life does not appear to be a fair process. Now this, if you see, talks about the process which is being criticized in the last two sentences, that it was abruptly cut to 8%, then 3%, no reasons were given. So maybe the process is fine, but the way it is calculated, the system of process is unfair, right? So this is my correct option. Fourth is my correct option. Okay, we're given 5 sentences. We need to identify the odd one out. Okay. Let's read each of these sentences one by one. The insulin then help break down the sugar, which is either provide immediate energy or go into fat cell for storage. Then this is a follow. A few recent studies suggest that consuming fake sugar actually trains your insulin response to store more and not less fat. Okay, there's no connection between the first and the second sentence. Let's move on. If your body interprets something as sweet, which is not real sugar, it ends up producing that same insulin response. Okay, now I see some connection between third and the first sentence. It is insulin response, then the insulin help break down the sugar, right? The main one is that artificial sweeteners are actually better for you than real sugar. Okay, the main one is, what is this main one? Basically, when you consume real sugar, your taste buds send an alert. Okay, let me just fix my pen. Okay. Basically, when you consume real sugar, your taste buds send an alert to your pancreas saying that calories are on their way. So all of this makes a little sense. But fourth one says that the main one, now all the 5 sentences make sense. But if you see the fourth one, it talks about some main one. What is this main one? Right? So maybe they have talked about some myths. And the main myth is this one, that are better than real sugar. But whereas the sentence preceding it, how should I connect this statement? So 1, 2, 3 and 5 can be arranged in a passage maybe. But this is a completely irrelevant statement. Hence fourth is my correct option. Okay, this is a parajumble question. I carted it in a wheelbarrow and set it down by the pond. What is this? Before leaving, he also showed me how to form them into fist-sized balls. Okay, again a clue. About a week after we started filling the pond, he ordered me to bring out the coil paper wire from the tool shed. Okay, using a pair of wire cutters, he snipped the copper into short lengths. Okay, so I'm looking for something which would fit this it and this them. So after reading all of this, only 3 seems to be three seems like a general statement which can be used as the introductory statement. And this is also a narrative passage. It narrates a story. So what could be a good beginning to my story? The third sentence. 3. Okay. He ordered me to do something. What I did with it? I carted it in a wheelbarrow. So 1. Okay. Then, before leaving, he showed me something, how to cut them into fist-sized ball. No. Before that, what he did with the copper, he, using wire cutters, snipped copper into short length. And before he was leaving, he also showed him how to cut them into fist-sized balls. So, 3, 1, 4, 2. That's my correct order. So, that was the video, guys. I'll see you in the next one.